Well, good morning, grand rising, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are and whenever you are when you kind of click into this. So, I want to talk today. I'm going to ramble at you a little bit. It's been a while since I've done a ramble rant. It's going to be a little on the longer side. So, you can dip in and out. I'll probably see how long I go, but I have things to say. And you don't have to listen. You can scroll on or you can tune in. Up to you. Choices. Free will. We love it, even if it's an illusion. All right. So I want to talk about breakups today. So, I have a little private joke with myself about the word so. It's initials for significant other, in case you didn't know. So I always capitalize that because I feel like maybe I'm just writing to my significant other and he's somewhere in the future and he just hasn't shown up yet. Or maybe I'm just writing to myself and letting the world listen, which is what I've always said my work is. I've had we're going to talk about breakups today. We're going to talk about breakups, shakeups, and wake-up calls. That's probably what I'll call it. I just saw like 14 versions of a song that I'm now slightly obsessed with called Done With You. And I think it's one woman is Aurea, Aurea. She's got the best version. It's quite a powerful song. It's how we all feel when we're just disgusted and over it and we want to move on and get over and get on with it, right? And sometimes life won't let you for whatever reason. I counsel people all the time. They come in and say, just can't stop thinking about him. I just can't let her go. And it's like, okay, I've listened to this shit for 25, 30 years. No offense on the swearing, but the poop, the dirt, the goss, the tea, the real truth underneath all that, but hurt, mudslinging and insults and one-upsmanship and, competitive garbage. I have come to some conclusions that I'm going to share with you today. Aren't you lucky? No, just kidding. Just jokes. One thing I will say is I am, the right way I got into pop culture, celebrity pop culture at all is, I watched Fame as a kid and I sang into my hairbrush microphone and I had the pink foam curlers and I did all that. And we were all curated to want to be famous. It was so glamorous and glitzy and oh my God, look at it now, right? Whoo! Many bullets dodged for a lot of us. We're in crazy times and everybody's suffering or people are, you can find joy even in the darkest times. So people are doing what they're going to do and they're either obsessed and doom scrolling and into the fear porn MSM, Masonic satanic media, so hijacked and distorted. Yeah, so we're singing a little bit today. So anyway, breakups, shakeups, wake-ups. So I've had pretty amicable ones, amiable for the most part, but I did have one fairly horrific one with someone I actually dated when I was, like 20-ish. 20. I think I was 20. I'm now about to be 54 on April 9th. Hey, happy birthday to me. So when I was about 20-ish, let me backtrack a little here. I was 20. And my boyfriend, I think around that time, was someone I'd been friends with for a few years. And then we hooked up and then we started dating and then I found out he was gay, and that was not so fun. So that was one of my first real big heartbreaks. But this happened right after shortly thereafter, he and I had kind of decided, I'm totally done with you. I'm just done with you. I'm so done with you. And of course, you've got a woman and a gay man and a diva brat bitch slap kind of moment. But we were able to laugh through most things. And I even said to him one time, I said, if you are gay, and this was probably in the 90s, right? So like early 90s. Yes, I told you I'm old. Do the math. But anyway, I'm not old. I'm young at heart and I'm timeless. So I don't really relate to the word old or boring or any of that stuff. I'm just a little kid inside a woman's body. Get her out. No, I'm just kidding. She comes out quite often. Inner child work. That's kind of what this is too. So we're talking breakups, wake-ups, and shake-ups. Let me just recalibrate and refocus here before I just go all whatever on you. So this guy, this was a messy one. I had gone down to UVA, to Virginia, to with a friend of mine, my friend Mike, and he was going to see his girlfriend. And then, I was like just along for the ride. And like kind of third wheel kind of thing. But I knew that, I had a friend there too. And so it was like a double thing of like, hey, I have a friend there, you have a friend there. Let's go on a road trip and go see our friends. And it was great. We had so much fun. He was such a nice guy. He is such a nice guy. He's not deceased. Sorry, Mike. Mike Noonan. Maybe I'll send this to him if I can hunt him down. He's the one who turned me onto Facebook, by the way. Thanks, Mike. That was like, getting me on the crack pipe. But now I'm off Facebook, so that's good. So I can't blame anybody for my choices. I decided to become a Facebook, whatever, Facebooker. So this guy, I won't name names. We'll just call him the Southern Boy. He was a gentleman in many ways, and then some not so much in other ways. But we dated. Oh, well, let me get to how we met first. I forget the chronology of things. This has been so long. I've been so single and celibate for the whole long. I'm like, well, yeah, coupling and how we met stories and all that. I've always enjoyed those. In this case, it's a little weird. So, we went to, it was a whole big group of us, as you do in college. You just party together, and we were having fun. And I remember walking out on the green, and it was a very pretty campus. And, he was sweet. He was that old school gentleman that I like, which, opening doors, probably picked up the bar tab, that kind of thing. And, I'm very modern in many ways, but I'm also traditional in other ways. I'm pretty split down the middle. I can open my own door. I can buy myself flowers. I don't want to have to, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. I think I keep saying that. That kind of thing. Maybe that's what I should name this. No, I think I will name it Wake-Ups, Breakups, and Shakeups, but we'll see. So let's get to it. All right. So I met him. We're all, just again, when it's all in a big group and you're just partying, you kind of just have little conversations and flirt moments and everything. And I'm, college was probably the peak of that for me, because I've been in female dominated fields, and the dating life has been a little fallow, shall we say. And some of that by design and engineered, not by me. So anyway, yeah, there's been interference and blockage, and hijack is the best word, I guess. So we're walking around, and he's, kind of looking at me all googly-eyed. I mean, I was 20. I was kind of cute. I'm still kind of cute. But she said modestly. But yeah, 20 is like the peak. Or at least in this society, we all think 20 is like it. Or, in some elite circles, like 12 is it, gross. So we're hitting it off. We're clicking. We're having a great time, and we kind of smooch at the end of the night. And then I go back, from Virginia to New England, go back to Massachusetts. And I think, well, I'm never going to see him again, but that was a nice, pleasant time. And he was a good kisser. Well, the dude, and this is before the internet, you guys. So this took some ingenuity and some craftiness. He hunted me down, stalked me, and found me through my father. He remembered that I had said my father was a superintendent of schools. I think these candles are making me cough. Hang on. Let me deal with that. I'm going to put them out, and we'll just have the salt lamp for lighting. This is not a professional production. This is what we're dealing with. We're on a budget over here. Big time budget. Well, little time budget. Okay, so this is how I snuff candles now. See? No, it's not a snuff film. Everybody relax. Oh, that's a horrible joke. Horrible. Okay. Can I get that one? Yeah. See, there you go. Ooh, there's smoke, there's fire. Okay. So he finds me, and he calls, because, we used to actually talk on the phone back in the day. I know that's confusing for a lot of millennials and under, but boomers and Gen Xers will understand what I mean by, like, hey, we actually talked on the phone. You didn't let it go to voicemail, because I don't even know if there was. I guess there was voicemail then, but or answering machines. We had those old answering machines. And, oh my God, they're dinosaurs now, technology-wise. So, he says, I'd like to come see you, or when are you coming back here to visit or whatever? And I said, well, I'm not coming back there anytime soon. Kind of was on a college budget then too, and I had gone and split the gas with my friend Mike maybe, or Mike might have paid for the gas. I do not remember. It was a long time ago. We're talking, let's see, almost 25 years ago. So, yeah, I had dated, the gay guy. And we broke up. And then this guy comes along, and he's nice and he's polite and kind and great manners. And I'm just thinking, oh, that's a nice antidote to the snarky, diva energy I was dealing with. Because I should have just stayed friends with that guy. It would have been better off, because it was devastating to find out you're kind of somebody's unofficial beard. Like, he took me home to his family, and we were evacuated in a hurricane into a high school. And it was a whole thing. And the brother was nice to me, but he wasn't. So, good riddance, but also wish you well kind of thing. That's how I always break up. Like, get out of here. Go live your life. Get on with the show. Stop trying to ruin mine. No, really. I might have been a little bit of the hot breakup back in the day. I might have been the one that wasn't always so nice. So this guy thought I was a total bitch. And he probably was right at that time. So anyway, we're dating. Now we're dating. Fast forward 4, 5, 6 months or something. And he's like, been talking on the phone a lot. He's come up one time for visit, and then he's coming up for a second visit. And, he has to make efforts for this. He's going to take a 15-hour bus ride to come see me. And I thought that was really sweet. Like, oh, he's going to show up at the door. And he did bring flowers. Like, he was great. He was really, on paper, the great boyfriend who did all the right things and said all the right things. Except one time he did call me his ex's name in bed, and that wasn't great. And that was the beginning of the end of that thing, for sure. Because I told my friends, I polled my friends. I said, have you ever been in bed with someone and being intimate and they call out someone else's name and they're like, what? No, that's horrible. He's clearly not over her. But he had told me he broke up with her to be with me. And I was like, I thought that was awkward. And I was, it was a little mixed feelings of, oh, you're a little flattered, but you feel bad for her and all this stuff. And so I just stay away from people who are coupled up or partnered or married or paired, because, like, I never want to be the monkey in the middle with that. It's just not my style, not my vibe. And if people cheat, like, and they have a history of cheating, I'm just not going near you. I'm not signing up for that heartbreak ever, right? Been there, done that. We all have. I've never cheated, but I've been cheated on. I mean, I'm a flirt, and I probably would be what they would have called an emotional cheater if I got bored, or I felt like my person was neglecting my needs, or if they didn't see me, or if they treated me like I was invisible or didn't matter or didn't count, then yeah, I'd probably stray, but I'd probably break up with them. I would always just break up with them and be like, all right, this isn't working, bye. So that was my MO with relationships. And so this guy, he's coming up for the second time in 5 or 6 months. And, I had seen my ex, the gay boy, who he wasn't out yet, really, but we all knew. Everybody knew. He was the last to know, the last to admit it or something, deep in the closet, deep in denial, deep in deception. But so I didn't officially know yet. I thought maybe he's bi, maybe, I don't know. And I still had feelings. I had feels. I had caught the feels, as they say. And so I had all these mixed feelings, and I was being pulled back by nostalgia. And even though I knew it wasn't going to ever work with us, one thing we fought about was, I was a Yankee girl in Boston, and he, Southern boy, Virginia, and he had a Confederate flag on his wall. Oh my God, can you imagine that? And that was in the 90s, and I was horrified, and we had a big fight about that, and that was almost the big breakup. But then we worked our way through that one, and I realized he wasn't actually a racist, and, he did pull the, my best friend is black card. But in fact, it was true. So whatever. So he wasn't a racist, and he was mostly a gentleman, but he had the ambivalence about his ex, who happened to be called Amy. So that's the name he called out while we were in the throes of passion. Amy! I'm like, dude, I'm not Amy. Do you know my name? Do you even know my name? Can you say my name out loud? And he did. That was a bad moment. And yeah, obviously very telling. And again, I didn't feel that bad for what came after. So I had seen my ex and ran into him, and we hugged, and I just felt like, oh shit, I'm not over this one, and I'm trying to start up something with the other one, and this is not me. I don't like this tug of war. I'm not a love triangle person. I hate that crap. I don't play people off each other. I don't. If I feel they're playing me, oh yeah, I'll hold up a mirror every time. That's just personality. That's just like hardwired. If I think you're trying to play me or prey upon me, you will be in a world of hurt before your little games are done. That's just a promise, not a threat, a promise. If I know you're sincere and you're honest and you're genuine, you're going to probably show up at the door with flowers. That's how I was raised. That's what I believe. And that's, it's maybe a flimsy way of looking at romance because it's so much more than that. But it shows effort, right? So I did really appreciate his effort. He came down on the bus and I picked him up, and right off the bat, because I just ran into my ex like a few hours prior, I was already like feeling weird. And I think he noticed, obviously, because like we knew each other fairly well. We were talking on the phone every day. And he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Well, nothing." And then this was bad of me, and I can admit this. The ex had said, "Hey, why don't you come to the basketball game tonight?" And I said, "Oh, my boyfriend's coming in." And he's like, "Well, just bring him." And, back in the day, we were all kind of friends. Like, whether we dated or kissed or had crushes on each other, we were all kind of just like friends in the friend group. And that was nice. It was, could get complicated and messy, but nothing like the incestuous soup of Hollywood, right? It was just much more innocent and, simpler times, or at least that's how we romanticize it, right? Or I do. So anyway, he gets in the car. He's exhausted from the 15-hour bus ride, and I want to make sure he can, like, have a fun night. And I know he likes basketball. I could give a shit about sports either way. In fact, I really don't like them. But I thought I was doing something nice for him, and I guess maybe I was feeling guilty that I still had this heart tug for the ex, and the ex had said just come to the game and gave me tickets, and I said, okay. So he gave me 2 tickets, which was really nice, and I think he was feeling bad about, hey, I know I lied to you about our whole relationship, and I don't actually like women, but have some basketball tickets as a consolation prize. I was like, thanks. So then Twisted Me, was like, well, should I use these with the new boyfriend, even though I got them from the old boyfriend? I'm like, but that's definitely dead, and even though I still have heart confusion about it, like, we're just not gonna pan out. And so I said, all right, they're free tickets, whatever. It's a basketball game. I think the Southern boy will like it. And I mean, I would use these people's names, but, this is 25 years ago. I don't need to out anybody. One of them works at MTV. Leave it there. I don't even know where the other one ended up. But, yeah. Okay, so he gets there. He's tired. And I say, look, I got us these basketball tickets. I know you like basketball. And he's like, oh, I'm too tired. I just want to go home, shower, and be with you and have a nice dinner. And I was like, but everyone's going to be there, and I want you to meet some of my friends. It'll be really fun. And, we'll get you home. You can rest a little, shower. We'll get some food into you, and then we'll go. And he's like, we'll see how I go. We'll see how I feel. And I don't know. I think he left his bag at the bus station, and then we had to go back to the bus station. That took some time, and he was just out of sorts. I was out of sorts. We were not clicking anymore, and I just felt it. I was like, oh, this is not going to work. Just like I knew with the other one, the closeted gay guy, it wasn't going to work. I knew with this one, he was kind of a downer. I was so excited to do something nice for him, and he didn't want to receive my gift, put it that way. I wanted to share something with him that was very special. Not the basketball tickets, but, it was like my way of saying, I'm leaving the old one. I'm going to the new one. I'm, this is the bridge moment. And we didn't, just backfired so badly. So, we start fighting. We're fighting in the car on the way to my, dorm, and it's ugly and it's not nice. We're saying horrible things, as you do during just pre-breakup. And then I kind of told him, I was very honest too in that heart to heart, where it wasn't like a fight. We weren't yelling, no domestic violence, nothing like that. It was just angry words exchanged. And anyway, he was just getting crankier and crankier, and I was getting less and less interested, because the more cranky and bratty he became, the more turned off I was, right? Plus, again, I had the hug still on me from earlier in the day from the ex, so it was scrambled mess. Emotional train wreck. Drama. But not really, because I was just like, all right, well, we'll go to the game, we'll have fun, and we'll see what the weekend brings. Well, we did not make it to the game, and we fought well into the night and broke up. Oh my God, he called his mom. Oh my God. And I get that instinct of wanting to call your mom, or, I've actually wanted to call the partner's mom and be like, what'd you do to make this guy so fucked up? I don't want to call their moms and be like, thanks. But anyway, he called his mom crying, and it was a disaster. Then I called my mom crying, and it was just it was such a stupid 20-year-old, everything's so dramatic kind of breakup. So, we kind of finally fall asleep for a few hours, and then we wake up, and I was in total bitch mode because of all the nasty experiences I'd had, the snarkiness with the ex, who was, hiding his identity from me and using me as a beard. I hated that so much. Hated it. Couldn't hate it more. Like, that was the most devastating part of it, which is probably just ego, right? But anyway, I keep saying that, but anyway, yeah, long story short, I put him on a bus the next day. He'd come 15 hours on a bus to see me for the weekend, and we fought the whole time he was there, which was a good 5, 6, 7 hours and then we slept and we woke up. And I'd been looking up the bus schedules. You bet I was, around 3 a.m. when I realized that he was on the phone with his mom. I was on the computer, somehow looking up bus stuff. And we got him on the first bus in the morning, and it was a very silent, very stony, very cold, very icy ride to the bus stop. And I thought, as soon as I let him off, and I watched him get on the bus and kind of wave this very curt goodbye to me, I was so relieved. My whole body went into full relief of, I never have to see you again, ever. Now, with crushes on famous people, and they're playing with that and all that fuckery, you have to see them all the time. You're constantly triggered and re-triggered. It's stupid. How are you going to heal PTSD if you're constantly having that person thrown at you and they're not going to step up or show up or be real? I mean, this guy did in certain ways, but emotionally he was immature. And between the fight over the Confederate flag, calling out another person's name in bed, and then not wanting to go to the basketball game, it was like, I can't win with this guy, So even though I felt I had legit reasons to kind of, for lack of a better term, dump him, I felt bad about it. I felt very guilty for a long time over that. And I was not nice. I could have just, I didn't want to ride out the weekend. When if you're done and you're just so done, you're beyond done, they need a new word for done. You just want out. You want to escape. You want to gnaw your arm off to get away from them, right? Isn't that romantic? So I've been pretty independent and pretty, I'll date here and there, and I do believe in marriage still. I do believe in monogamy and commitment, and that's sort of a dying, quaint idea now. I'm just much more vanilla than all this polyamory, cheating scandal stuff. I hate it. I cannot. So where was I going with all that? So I've been in these weird sticky situations, that was again a long time ago. And I'm constantly asking myself, well, isn't there just someone simple and normal like me? I'm not that normal, I'm crazy, but my kind of crazy, right? The kind where it's playful and it's joyful and it's fun and it's not snarky or mean or sadistic or immature or petty or diva. I just can't deal with that. Since then, I have never been able to deal with that ever again. Because it took a friend one time pointing out how the gay boy had treated me. She goes, he's really not nice to you. I was like, what do you mean? We're just joking. We're just having fun. It's just jokes. It's all lighthearted. I don't take it personally. I just let it roll off. She goes, no, he's not very nice to you. And I don't like the way he talks to you or about you. And I was like, what do you mean? And so, you just don't always see it when you're in it. And I think some of us have a high tolerance for emotional distress or trauma. And then you do trauma bond to people who also carry those certain frequencies or whatever, right? Frequency. Every time I say that word, I want to go, frequencies. You got to have matching frequencies. And definitely that usually comes along with matching core values. I value honesty, integrity, some old school gentlemanly qualities. I am not down with guys who wear eyeshadow. I'm just not. That's be you. I'll root for you as a friend, but I'm not going to date you. And I'm not going to feel like a bigot for feeling that way. I'm just not. I'm heterosexual. I was born this way, I'm cisgender. I'm just me. That's what my preference. Is it okay to have a preference that doesn't go along with the trendy party line? This is not left or right for me. This is not woke or whatever the opposite of woke is, it's just a personal feeling. Okay, we're allowed to have those personal feelings, personal opinions. We're allowed to have them. We're allowed to express them. People are allowed to disagree with them. They're allowed to give counterpoints. That's how life goes when you're a grown-up. You actually sit down, have face-to-face, heart-to-heart hash outs. And as awful as that breakup was, I really valued the fact that he fought for me in those 4 or 5 hours we were in that real fight. My heart just wasn't there. My heart wasn't in it anymore, and it wasn't his fault. And I don't even think it was my fault. It was just where it was at. Like we were not compatible for the long haul, and I didn't want to waste his time or mine, obviously, because it wasn't, worth it to me to go through the motions or play or pretend. I don't do that, especially with affairs of the heart, and especially when I've been duped and tricked and played and exploited and used and abused by people. I don't need to sign up for more of that. I'm just not going to do it. So that's that. And it's a wake-up call. A breakup is a wake-up call. And it leads you into new insights and awarenesses about, your own childhood triggers and traumas, sure, but also your coping mechanisms and your conflict resolution skills, okay? I would say I was pretty efficient. I had that guy on a bus and headed back down south to his Confederate flag with his ex that he wasn't over. So the ironic thing was I wasn't over my ex, he wasn't over his ex. That's never a good place to start. You don't start on a lie. I think he at first lied to her about me, but then he was obsessed or whatever. He told me, that's his words. He was obsessed and he had to find me and he thought I was a soulmate and all this stuff. So sometimes that doesn't always work out. You got to have mutuality. You got to have respect and affection. You got to have core values aligned. It's a lot of things that have to line up for people to fall in love and stay in love. And the staying power is not just suck it up, buttercup, or getting all your friends involved like he said, she said. That's just lame and juvenile. And it's like, you talk to each other. You sit down and you hash it out. And if you can't do that, then you wish them well and you send them on to their next target or victim or conquest or their next batch of lies, because that's what a lot of relationships are these days, is just lies and fakery and lack of integrity and lack of honor. And if I'd been out of integrity, I would have just, broken up with him over the phone instead of in person. And I think I'd known that was brewing. The hug from the ex pushed it over the line, and that's how it played out. So yes, for a long time after I heard he thought I was a total bitch and I was the villain in his story. Well, okay, I'll accept that. That's fair. The guy had to spend like 30 hours on a bus because of me. That sucks. I wouldn't want to do that to anyone. In this day and age, I would probably try to find a friend, let him crash on the couch until he would be comfortable enough to go home instead of putting him through that. Because, a 15-hour bus ride, I've been on a 22-hour bus ride and like a 28-hour boat ride in Brindisi in a hurricane in Italy. So, I know that's miserable. You feel like it's never going to end. You're stuck there forever, and that's your personal hell. So I think that was one of the meanest things I've ever done, actually. One of the meanest things I've ever done that I can recall and that I, feel bad about. I've done mean things. I've said mean things. We're all human. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be. How boring. But I don't want to be so demonic either that you have a string of broken hearts behind you, or people who you misled, people who you lied to. Like, that's not me. I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. I want to be honest in love. I want to be upfront, and I want it to be clear and simple. And I know life is complicated and messy, but love shouldn't be. How about that? There's your quote for the day. So that's it, kids. That's a little confessional from Caw. And much love to whoever is going through whatever they're going through. I know I've kind of done a half joke, and it's not really funny. It's actually really scary. But pandemic, I say, made babies and divorces, right? So either you were going to get closer to someone, or you're going to realize that your karmic contract, so to speak, was complete and there wasn't any more growth, edge, or evolution there. It was just looping and pain. That's when you bail. That's when you go. That's when you walk on and you say thank you, goodbye. And there's always hope for new life when the babies are born and you go, oh my God, they don't know anything that's going on, and they're just this pure blank slate, and they need to be protected at all costs, regardless of people's egos, their fears, their vows of silence. Children need to be protected and safe on this planet. That's priority number one. And if me saying that and being dedicated to that makes me enemy number one, so be it. Because I don't mind being the enemy or the villain in a story when I know who I am and what I bring to the table and what I bring to the party. And it's a lot. And it's not always easy. Love doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. So that's what I have for you today, you guys. I hope if you're in a heartbreak situation of any kind that you are doing radical self-care. You are resting a lot because our bodies rewire and heal when we slumber, and that you are being very gentle and easy on yourself, because this is not easy stuff. Humaning is hard, intimacy is hard, but communication is key. And if you don't have that and compatibility on those core values, then you really don't have anything. And you might as well stick them on a bus and send them home. Love you guys. Bye.